Statement PS 43, submitted by Barry Richards. I am writing to urge you to abandon the East Bristol Liveable Neighbourhood Scheme, LNS. While its stated intentions may seem positive, the scheme is fundamentally flawed in both design and execution, causing more harm than good to the residents and businesses of East Bristol. Key reasons to scrap the scheme. 1. Displacement of traffic and worsening congestion. The LNS has not reduced traffic but has merely pushed it onto surrounding roads, causing significant congestion, longer travel times, and increased air pollution in these areas. This has not only failed to meet the scheme's objectives, but has also exacerbated the very issues it aimed to solve. 2. Increased danger for cyclists. I cycle to work to the centre every day. Far from promoting safer cycling, the scheme has made roads more dangerous for cyclists. The displacement of traffic onto fewer main roads has resulted in higher volumes of cars, making these roads more hazardous. Coupled with the lack of proper cycling infrastructure, the scheme discourages cycling and jeopardizes the safety of those who do choose this mode of transport. 3rd, harm to local businesses. Businesses in East Bristol are already reporting a decline in footfall and increased logistical challenges due to restricted access and longer delivery routes. These businesses are the backbone of our community, and the LNS is directly threatening their survival in an already challenging economic climate. 4th, disproportionate impact on vulnerable residents. The scheme disproportionately affects the elderly, disabled, and those with limited mobility, who often rely on cars for essential travel. It has created significant barriers to accessing healthcare, social services, and other necessities, increasing social isolation and inequality within our community. 5. Flawed public engagement and lack of transparency. Despite claims of consultation, many residents feel their concerns and feedback have been ignored. The scheme lacks transparency in its planning, implementation, and evaluation, leaving the community to bear the brunt of poorly considered decisions. The East Bristol Liveable Neighbourhood Scheme has failed to address the needs of our community. Instead of promoting sustainability, inclusivity, and safety, it has caused division, inconvenience, and danger. The scheme is deeply unpopular, unworkable, and damaging to the social and economic fabric of East Bristol. I strongly urge the Council to scrap this scheme immediately. Any future proposals should be based on robust evidence, with meaningful public consultation, and a genuine commitment to improving all forms of transport, including walking, cycling, and driving. Importantly, these must include comprehensive, well-designed cycling infrastructure to ensure safety for all road users. Bristol deserves solutions that work, not schemes that worsen problems and alienate the very people they are meant to serve. It is time to listen to the community and act decisively to rectify this failure.
Statement PS 46, submitted by Anna Mieszkalska. What a disaster council have committed. I have never seen worse planning and worst way to treat people in the areas. Council only looked at some middle-class people who are able to commute by bike to their offices, do not have dogs, children, or disabled people to care for, nor they got businesses to manage. You paralysed out area with this project and made impossible to commute by Church Road. You are ruining people's private time as well as businesses. We work long hours and now we have to spend hours in transport thanks to your project. We demand immediate cancellations of this ridiculous plan.
Statement PS 60, submitted by Thomas Herod. I understand years of consultations have taken place with regards to making Bristol greener, safer, and to reduce cars coming into the centre. I live on Northcote Road. I saw lots of flyers in support of this scheme from people that work from home, have small children, and saw this simply as an opportunity to make their inner-city neighbourhoods suburbs. This scheme wasn't designed for this. If the aim is to make Bristol greener, first point of call is to change mindsets and make public transport easier, more accessible, and more of them. Car sharing incentives. Incentives do not use cars in general, forcing road closures which are labelled as rat runs. This has led to serious concerns. I don't use my car to get to work, so not saying this to benefit me. The surrounding areas are now all funneled through Church Road. This road was already too busy, and now traffic times down it are doubled or tripled. This is increasing the concentration of pollution to the residents down that road. For the areas of the EBLN, you have cut off our routes home. Now there is one road I can use. This is often now busy and blocked at busy times. Blacksworth Road is much busier too. Surely your aim isn't to make key roads even busier. Surely the £6 million is better spent elsewhere, as these schemes don't work and have failed in Liverpool and other cities. I plead with you to end this and go back to the table with a more sustainable solution. The argument for safer area for kids now has scooters and bikes racing down them. Not safe. If people want to live in a suburb street, they can move to one. It's not a reason to cut off access. This isn't creating a greener city, and it's not preventing cars from entering the city. Please stop it.
Statement. PS 61. Submitted by Lucy McCourt. I live on Blacksworth Road, and since this scheme has started, the traffic is terrible. Gridlocked from Netham Lock to the Church Road junctions at some times. This road has a school on which cars sit still emitting fumes while waiting outside until they can move. I'm unable to park my car outside my building because when I come home, there is a line of traffic blocking the side with the houses on. Statement PS 65. Submitted by Saffron Levenoir. The East Bristol Liveable Neighbourhood scheme is having a huge detrimental impact. The closing of roads has worsened many things in the area. The pollution on roads such as Church Road, Blacksworth Road and surrounding main roads is terrible. You can taste it as you walk up the road. It is as if you are stood right by a car exhaust. These routes directly impact primary schools and the children travelling to and from them, with regards to the traffic and resulting pollution. These schools include, but aren't limited to, Redfield Educate, St Patrick's Primary School, Summerhill Infant, and junior schools. However, I am sure the traffic and road closures affect many others trying to get to school. It affects a huge amount of people trying to get to their jobs. I know teachers, medical professionals, emergency services workers, care workers, and more unable to reach jobs on time, having a devastating impact to the wider public. Emergency services now cannot access people's homes as easily due to road closures, difficulties turning around due to the small nature of the roads and being stuck in traffic, vehicles unable to move out of their way as there is nowhere to go. This has a knock-on effect in that people are not being seen by emergency services, which will likely result in harm or death. As we all know, the seconds and minutes count when these services are called in an emergency. Residents of these areas struggle to have things delivered due to the lack of free-flowing traffic and roads. Cars get stuck behind vans and lorries as there is only now often one way into a group of roads. Local businesses are negatively affected as people from wider Bristol and beyond don't want to travel to the area, or it has become too difficult to navigate. Public transport is negatively impacted as buses are sat in traffic unable to move due to cars being unable to take other routes. This disproportionately affects those with protected characteristics under the Equalities Act, such as people with children, pregnant women, people with disabilities and older people who have no other option than to use a car. Beaufort Road now feels unsafe in the dark as there is nobody around. You could be pulled into the cemetery and nobody would see or hear. The negatives of this scheme grossly outweigh any positives. It is a shocking misuse of public funds. Not to mention people are now struggling to sell homes due to the scheme. Statement PS 67, submitted by Hayley Franklin. I live in Down End and work in Easton. However, I am being affected by the Liveable Neighbourhood scheme due to the knock-on traffic being pushed across to the Wackham-Whitehall Road and through Easton Arch. I am having to leave my house in the morning lot earlier, thus meaning my children are now fending for themselves longer than I would like. Considering a job change but will lose pay.